Hey, welcome back again, everyone. I am just so excited and happy to introduce to you David Noff, he's the general manager of Ace Relocation Systems, Inc., moving and storage. And he's actually going to bring a little bit of insight about his success with the business, as well as kind of give some inspiration to our listeners of some of the challenges that he's overcome throughout his career. David, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're very, very welcome, man. I love that smile. You gotta love it, right? So, can we dive right on into it? Let's just talk a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
Sure, sure. I always joke around with people that I was born into the moving industry. I literally was. It's a family business. My father owned a large North American agency up in Chicago, Illinois, that he had started with one truck, and all of his kids worked their way through that business through college and everything. So I started out sweeping warehouses, cutting grass in the summertime over at the moving company, and probably since I was about 13, 14 years old. So I've been around it my whole life.
Well, and that's an inspiration in itself, wouldn't you say? Because your father owned the business. You came in and you understood, as you transitioned and got older and older and held various positions in your father's business, you kind of understood everything that had to happen to get to where you're at today. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. There's no free rides with my father and the type of person he was. He told me, same as he told my brothers and sisters, you're my son. You have to work twice as hard as everybody else.
Well, that's a very good philosophy to instill into your kids. I love it. So
Hmm.
let's tell us. I know you kind of talked a little bit about this, but tell us a little bit more about your business. When I was doing my research on you, I saw that you guys have 10, I believe it's 10 US locations, and you have a team of about over 400. Is that
Yes,
true? Okay.
that's
Uh,
true.
all right. So you got a big team. Are you continually growing, or give us a little bit about your business?
Okay, so we're an agent for Atlas Van Lines, and as you said, Ace Relocation Systems has 10 locations throughout the United States. We are Atlas Van Lines' largest interstate hauling agent. Um, we have 150, we call them PBOs, those are professional van operators that run cross country for us and handle all of our interstate household good work. We have warehouses at all of our locations. We're a full service moving and storage company. The majority of the business that Ace does is national account household goods. So we have contracts with companies you've all heard of, like Google, Lockheed Martin, UPS. We handle their employees' relocations. And I think last year Ace as a whole did about 15,000 relocations.
Wow, congratulations. And it didn't get there overnight, did it?
No, no. And the story is the same with Reg Lammers, who started this company. When my father started his, they all started with one truck. And the one thing in the moving industry, you will not find a moving company that is publicly owned, publicly held. These are family owned companies that have been in somewhere on their third and fourth generations of family owning and operating those businesses. And it's turned into huge multi-million dollar corporations, but they're all privately held.
You know what I like about this, man, and I can share this with the listeners, is the fact that you stuck with it time in and time out through the challenges, through the ups and downs, right? And you
Hmm.
got to a point now, you wouldn't be where you're at if your customers were not happy with your services. And kudos to you, for you and your family, for doing that. So what inspired you to do this?
Well, my dad told me to do it.
Oh, okay.
No, no, you know what? Just growing up in the business and seeing how my dad conducted business, this is all I wanted to do. Uh, I have another brother that runs another business that we still own. It's a self-storage business up in Chicago. My other brother and my other sister got out of the business at a certain point and did other things. I was just always the one, this is what I wanted to do, and I stuck with it.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. We talk about sticking with something, even though it's hard. It will pay its dividends in the long run. So, what's a belief strategy you held strongly in the past that completely changed your mind? That you completely changed your mind about?
Um, I used to always think in the past when I was interviewing employees that you were better off trying to hire somebody from within your own industry, within the moving industry. Um, some points it does make it easier to train people because they already know your business, how you estimate, how you do things. And that's changed. I've learned that you get a lot more from hiring outside the industry. It doesn't mean we won't look within our own industry, but we've had a lot of success hiring people from outside the moving industry. There's a big world out there in the business, and they bring a lot of experience to us that they may not have gotten within our own industry, and that's helped us to grow and given us a big advantage. Sales, marketing, and especially in IT. Ace leads the way in the IT side of the business. We're using AI. Um, we're actually consulting Atlas Van Lines on their IT systems, and that's because we brought people in from large companies outside of our industry to help us with that.
I like what you said, bringing people outside of your industry, because doing that provides a different perspective.
Absolutely.
They're not set in their ways because they're in the traditional way of someone being in that same industry. You're kind of like going outside of the mold. You're breaking that mold. So
Yep.
that is very interesting that you said that. So what are some of the unexpected lessons that you learned from your business, from running your business?
um, one of the biggest lessons I learned was about 8 years ago when I moved from Illinois to Florida. Uh, I'm a lifelong Chicago person, have lived up there, and I got the opportunity to move down to Orlando to take over our Orlando branch and get to warmer weather. So my wife and I took advantage of that. Being in this business my entire life, I've never moved out of state like we do for all of our customers. And I really realized it is stressful. That we knew. Moving is number two, right? Yeah, it's in the top three with death and divorce.
Hmm.
But I didn't realize how much outside of what we do for the customer, the stress that they're under. Lining up home sales, possibly working in two locations at once, which I did for quite a while. I ran both companies. Getting kids enrolled in new schools. My wife actually moved down about 3 months ahead of me to get our daughters in school. We had one in high school and one in college. There is so much more going on, and that really opens your eyes to, you have to be sympathetic to your customers when you're dealing with them, because there's a lot more going on other than just the physical move of what we're handling with them.
Wow, that's a lot of great information. You're actually seeing it from the eyes of your customer,
Hmm.
and that's powerful. So, what is the secret to success as we kind of wrap up here?
It's really simple. Do what you say you're going to do.
Hmm.
Don't give your customer a lot of promises and commitments that you're not sure if you can do it. If you tell your customer you're going to do something, you do it. It's an obligation, and you make it happen. And I think that has really been the philosophy behind Ace. And I think that's what's made Ace so successful. If we make a commitment to something, we're going to make it happen.
I hear that from a lot of business owners because I do talk to a lot, and that's consistently the same message that I hear across most business owners, and how they say do it right, and create the trust, among your clients. What is a trend that's kind of happening in your business right now? Is there a trend?
Well, the business slowed down this last year, obviously, because of the interest rates on homes. But we've seen our traffic patterns shift a little bit as well. Now, I live down in Florida and our branch is in Orlando, and we've been the lucky recipient of a huge amount of inbound traffic into the Florida area for the last 7 or 8 years at least. That has slowed down this year. There's still a lot of people moving here, but it's quite a bit less than what was coming down here in the year prior. There are a lot of moves coming off the West Coast, and we're doing a lot of relocations from Washington, California, Oregon, heading eastbound, but not necessarily coming as much to Florida as they were in the past. They're going to other states. They're going to North Carolina, South Carolina. Tennessee is seeing a lot of activity. So is Texas.
Interesting. Yeah, it has kind of boomed over the many years, right? It definitely has done that.
It has, and Florida has become more expensive to live in. So that's part of the reason it's slowed down a little bit. It's still an attractive place to live, though. You can't beat it. I would never leave. But we're also seeing a trend with some of the retirees starting to move to Georgia, South Carolina, just because Florida's becoming a little bit expensive for people on the fixed incomes.
Well, that's a good point. It makes a lot of sense. So, as you know, this show is also about giving inspiration to those who want to become entrepreneurs or those who are business owners, maybe stuck in a rut and are trying to get their mindset straight as you continue to move forward. Any advice from your end?
You have to be passionate about what you do, and don't ever get stuck in a rut as far as business. It's constantly changing, and you have to be able to change with the business and adapt new ideas. The other thing is you have to be able to look to the future and see yourself in your business as being successful. That will make it happen. That will help drive you every day to make it happen.
And I like that, man. Look in the future, making sure that you see yourself as being successful and staying positive no matter how hard things get. You focus on the positives, and no negatives can come in your life as you continue to push that needle forward. Well, David, I am so excited to have you share your success and your inspiration about your business. Congratulations for all the success you and your family are having. And hopefully we can have you guys back here in the near future as well.
I would love it. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to First Media Consulting Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe today. To nominate a business you would like to recommend to be on our show, go to firstmediaconsulting.com or call. Thank you for listening.